What is up? What is up? Just a little impromptu shop meeting this evening. Welcome, welcome. Nothing particular on the agenda. It's just a little bit cooler this evening, so I thought it'd be a good time to come out and see if anybody wanted to visit. So let me open the comments here. If you're out there, please say hello. Let me know if you can hear me. For one. So I'm cleaning on our Snap-on. This is the IM31A. We took it apart the other day. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. There was definitely an issue going on there. It had lost its loving feeling. All the chooch power was gone. So I've got a kit on the way from the eBay. And once we get her cleaned up, she ought to be in better than new, I think. At least better than what you could buy new today. So yeah, just using a little ballast stall on it to break loose some of the crud. It was yeah, let me get a light for you here so that you can see. A little grungy on the inside. I've let it soak for a day or so. But yeah, it looks like a pretty good rebuild kit that comes through on the eBay. New bearings, gaskets, all that stuff. There's one part that I'm really hoping is in this kit, because if not, it's going to be kind of hard to find. So yeah, let me know how you guys are doing tonight. It has been so hot here. It's been hard to get out in the shop and do much of anything right now. And that's one thing I want to talk about tonight with you guys is insulation solutions for the metal building, because we got to do something this year. That's just all there is to it. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. 105, not counting humidity, was what was in here today, and that's just a little too warm. So we're going to figure out some sort of insulation. Surrender, what's up? Thank you for joining us tonight. We're working on the old snap-off IM31A. Got it torn apart. Got a rebuild kit coming. So I did a disassembly video on that. Thank you, man. Yeah, I haven't been on much lately. Had a little problem with the heat, and it knocked me back. Hey, good day, TJ. Good to see you. I guess it's morning for you, right? Yeah. So, yeah, maybe so. I invited a couple people. We'll see. It was an impromptu thing. I just, I thought it was a little bit cooler out here this evening, and a couple things I wanted to work on and talk about. So, we'll mess around for a little bit and see how it goes. One thing, Pop and I were working on his tractor the other day, his lawn tractor, and I have the worst luck with air gauges, and I need to just go find, okay, 11:19 a.m. down under, right on. Yeah, I have the worst luck with air gauges. I need to go find, just get a good one. But I've never quite seen this. This was a little slime air gauge that I bought at, I don't know, probably O'Reilly's or something, but yeah, it plumb snapped right off. It's just hot garbage, man. hot garbage. And I got 4 or 5 of them. You can put them all on the same tire, and they'll show you all different pressures. So if you have a suggestion for a good air gauge that I can add to the toolkit, um, doesn't have to be super accurate, but gosh dang, let's hold up a little bit. Let me pop a light on over here real quick. There we go. So yeah, the wife and I made salsa today. Turned out really good, and got plenty more coming. So that's always fun. We didn't make any last year, so we want to get the stores built up. Did get the Snap-on IM31A apart completely. The issue was, let me grab it here. So there's like these little, I'm not sure what you'd call them, like a pin bearing maybe. And you can see there's kind of a tip on the end there. Well, on one of them, it had broken into 2 pieces. So there's one piece and there's the other. I'm hoping the rebuild kit comes with a fresh set of those. If not, I'll have to do some digging. I was kind of disappointed. I paid $50 for this air ratchet, which I thought was fair if it worked, but it does need rebuilt, and by the end of the day, I'll probably have $100 in it. But um, you know, it ought to be like new once we get done with it and get it all cleaned out. Okay, TJ says I use the one on my compressor air hose, so if it's low, you have to have it already connected to add more air. Okay. Well, we'll see. I'm using just a little ballistol to clean this up. Of course, there's some plastic pieces on here and stuff. I didn't want to. I don't know. Let's take a look and see how she's cleaning up so far. I've let it sit for, I guess, a couple days now. And I'm not sure if these came out in the white or if they were originally painted. Let me get in the light there. But yeah, it's starting to clean up a little bit. Yeah. Inside was a little grungy. Show you some of the hammer parts on it. So there's the gears. Let me turn this a little bit so we can get some light. That all looks good. Let's see what else. Yeah, here you can see there's it's been used, but not in terrible shape. So, like I say, I think once we get the rebuild kit in it, it'll chooch like it used to anyway. So yeah, I asked a question earlier. If you had to narrow it down to 3 guns, and some people I know in other countries this may seem like a stupid question because it's so hard to get guns to begin with, but if you could only keep 3, whether it was a pistol, rifle, shotgun, what would be the ones you would hang on to? And I'm gonna kind of think about that too and give you my 2 cents on that post later. But while we're here, if y'all want to chime in on that, I would like to hear it. Oh, let's see. I need some sort of something like this. I want to get down into the innards of this thing. Yeah, it's still pretty warm out here. Not too bad. 82. I can handle that. So I'm gonna put some insulation in this shop this year. I've had a couple encounters with the heat, and I can't handle it like I used to. Okay, TJ says 22 long rifle, 308, and my under and over shotgun. All right. What's your favorite over and under? I had the opportunity to handle a superimposed, and I think that's probably the nicest, most well balanced shotgun I've ever held in my life. It's one of those guns that feels like it points itself. Just you just have to handle one to kind of get it. My Winchester 42 410 would be really hard to give up. I would really like that. Of course, it's not ideal for all things, but such a sweet shotgun. I don't have a lot of shotguns, so not a lot to choose from there. But yeah, this is cleaning up pretty well, I think, for a first pass anyway. We'll put some more of that Ballistol on there and let it soak some more. I think it's probably going to be a 3 more days before all my parts and such get here. There's a couple spots in here that need a bit more scrubbing. DJ says mine is a Akar Churchill from Turkey. Came with 20-inch and 30-inch barrels. All right. I've had some good shotguns out of Turkey. I sold one not too long ago. I'll have to think a minute about what brand that was. It was a over under 410. But yeah, quite a few firearms come out of Turkey now, and not too bad. Not too bad at all. So yeah, I emailed a couple guys, see if they want to come on. It was kind of a last minute thing. And yeah, TJ, if you ever want to come on and visit, man, I'll shoot you a link. You can come on. I'd love to visit with you. Got some good news today. I've been talking to a guy that has a prototype Remington called the Yellow Hammer. Only like 5 of them in existence, and he has a complete one, and we verified that it did come out of Remington. So we're gonna have him on. That's gonna be really cool to check that thing out. They were designing a semi-auto that would accept the Ruger 1022 rotary mag. It's kind of funny though, the prototype doesn't have a but you can't use a 1022 mag in it. It's similar, but it's a different magazine. So looking forward to checking that out. And our buddy George McAllister, he's got a what is that? M1 carbine cutaway. So really nice one too. So I'm gonna try to get both those guys on the same night, so we can have a good visit about a couple unique firearms. And our buddy Mike Baker over at Texas Gun Collectors Association is trying to find somebody that's got a 1911 cutaway. If we could get those three in one video, that would be really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna set this snap off ratchet over here on the healing bench. This is the other thing I need to get sent in. This is the ECU for John Deere 332. I've looked at it. I can't see what the issue is. I could probably do some reading and go through and test every resistor and diode. And I'm not an electrical guy, but I could probably figure it out. But you can send these in. They'll send you a refurbished one. I think it's a couple $100, somewhere in that neighborhood. Not a complicated thing for somebody who is familiar with this kind of thing, but it's not something that I'm real familiar with. So yeah, that's on the healing bench as well. So yeah, 22 long rifle would definitely be one I would have to keep, and it would be a really tough choice because I would hate to give up my very first rifle, which was a Target Master. But the Remington Model 34, I think, is one of the best bolt action designs ever. Reliable, shoots short, long rifle. Just a really dead simple, sturdy design. So that would definitely have to be up there on a 22 long rifle I would keep. My Anschutz, it's just such a nice rifle and dead accurate. Yeah, the 22 selection would be tough. It would be really tough. AR's hard to let go of, even though I don't shoot my ARs very often. Well, or AK. Gosh, AKs are just so reliable. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say, though. But yeah, for anybody that's joining, today it was 105 out here in the shop, and I've got to get some sort of insulation, at least on the roof. And I'm not sure if I want to go with like that 2.5 inch or 3 inch foam panels, or they have those rolls of like 5 or 10 mil reflective type stuff. And I was watching earlier a guy that had put that in his pole barn, and he did a temperature sense behind that material and then on the material on the inside of the building, and there was a 30-degree difference Fahrenheit. 30-degree difference. It would sure be really easy to put up versus the foam panels. I don't want to spray foam it in here because that's kind of like a permanent permanent thing. And yeah, I don't know. It's pretty expensive too. I'd like to find something I can just do myself. But you guys have any suggestions about insulating these metal buildings? I got to do something. Um, Here in Oklahoma, June, July, August, you just almost can't do anything out here in the shop. And without any insulation, AC is just pissing into the wind. So we got to figure something out. I can't sit inside all summer. I am going to set up a little tinkering room inside the shop. That's one of the reasons we haven't had any live streams inside lately, is because I'm moving all of my gun and computer stuff, my office area, into what was just my TV den. So we're combining kind of two rooms so that my daughter can have a playroom now. But it's going to take a little while to get all that sorted out. Let me pop over here real quick and check my email machine. Let's see if anybody responded. Okay, yeah, I don't see anybody. That's all right. It was kind of a late invite, to be honest. TJ, what is the temperature down under right now? What are your day and night temperatures? And is it humid? Here in Oklahoma, it is wickedly humid. I've lived in desert type areas like Denver. 100 degrees in Denver is nothing compared to 100 degrees in Oklahoma. You can cut the air with a knife here. And let me know if that fan is too loud for y'all. I gotta have a little bit of air blowing on me. So one of the things I picked up this week was another Nebo light, and I think it's called the Micra. And what's cool about it is it just clips on to your hat, and since it hinges like this, when you're working out in the shop on something, like I could clip it on here, and it points right down. It gives you that little bit of extra light. And matter of fact, they come in 2-packs. So I'll put a link in the description because I really like these. The last one I had, I wore out. I just clip it on my hat and leave it all the time and use it all the time. But yeah, you can actually put 2 on at the same time and really light up whatever it is you're working on. So yeah, Nebo Micra. It's got 3 different light settings. Okay, 2 Celsius at night, 20 C during the day. All right, I'm gonna have to convert that. Let's see, Fahrenheit. Uh, 2 Celsius. Let's see. Okay, 2 Celsius, that's 35 Fahrenheit. And then 20 degrees during the day, that's 68 Fahrenheit. Wow, that's nice. That's like winter here. And that's the other thing about the humidity that we have here, is the cold is just so much colder. It just goes right through you. At dry cold, well, it's not so bad. Living in the desert is not a bad thing, except for no water. Um, but the weather is ideal, especially when you start getting older and you get arthritis in your hands and stuff. That dry climate's really good. So, but yeah, not too bad out here with the fan blowing on me, and feeling pretty good. We were talking about. I like to bring out some books that I think are handy for people to have around. One, talking about gun books, is if you can get a hold. I don't know if Numerix puts these out anymore. These old part books. This one's from. Let's see, what year is this? It's number 31. What year? Don't know that I see a year in here, but man, these are handy to have because they give you exploded diagrams of man just about every firearm out there. So yeah, if you ever run across one of these, pick it up. Um, even if it's an older one, because gosh, I don't know how many firearms are in here. It's a bunch. And you can cross-reference parts, and yeah, this super handy to have. That's one I highly recommend. The other one, I've had this book a long time, and it was actually Pop's book. It's called Living on a Few Acres, and just lots of handy information for if you live on like 5 acres or a couple acres. Just basic stuff like drainage and um, setting up orchards. Um, gosh, woodlots, forest planning. Just a wealth of knowledge in a little book like this. And you can find all this kind of stuff on the internet, but sometimes I just like having a book around, especially when it comes to firearms, because I don't always want to have my computer out here trying to Google and figure out who's a knucklehead and who actually knows what they're talking about. Normally, when somebody writes a book, they put a lot of time into research and all that stuff. And um, normally, it's good information, and it's kind of nice to have a book laying there that you can look at. So, what about you guys? Do you have any recommendations for books? A book that you highly recommend to keep on the shelf? Whether it's a firearm book or a shop book, or I've got some books that I leave out here in the shop. Some of those, like the old Better Homes and Gardens books, plumbing books, electrical books. There's reference material that you can grab when it's just you against the world. You got to solve a problem. Sometimes it's nice to have a book. Nice to have a book laying around. Let's see, what else? Oh, let me grab, where did I put it? Yeah, here it is. So, a lot of times when I'm starting an old motor, TJ says I read a lot of history on war. That's probably a good thing because you can learn from that. Kind of tends to repeat itself. Just get off on a side tangent a little bit about that. I was talking to somebody the other day. I think it was George. Um, a lot of these these leaders of countries that seem to always be battling. Um, when the leader of the country runs around in military uniform all the time, it's kind of a sign that they like to fight a lot. Yeah, but we don't have to name names, but you can look back in history and guys that trotted around in a military uniform, they weren't necessarily looking for peace. And there's a few guys out there today running some countries that have been in the news of late, past couple of years, that like to wear that kind of stuff all the time. And you wonder how much they're really interested in peace and how much they kind of like drumming things up. It was interesting after the peace deal that was brokered the other day. Somebody came out and unloaded a bunch of munitions within the first hour. So, uh, yeah, I don't get into a lot of that stuff on this channel, but sometimes, man, it's like let's have some peace out here. Let's get along. But yeah, when I'm starting up an old motor, um, man, you don't want to use starting fluid unless you just have to. But a little bit of True Fuel down the gullet works really, really well. It lubes up the parts and will get it started. But what I like better than True Fuel, and I use this in some of the equipment, but I don't run very often, just because it's real stable and it just doesn't seem to go bad. I don't know what kind of voodoo they put in here, but better than this True Fuel, I have found that I like is this Still Moto Mix. And I'll tell you what, I noticed a difference in my equipment when I switched over to this. I'd like a noticeable difference. So I'm not buying this stuff anymore. Usually I have the 50-1, but I had this laying around. But yeah, the Still Moto Mix, it's like $1 more than the True Fuel, but worth every penny. Absolutely. I picked that up, that trick from Vice Grip Garage. If you've never watched him, man, he does some amazing stuff. Getting cars that have been sitting for decades. He goes out there and wrenches on them, gets them on the road, and drives them home. Just a really sharp dude and fun to watch. He's just hilarious. So I don't know him or anything like that, but he's a hoot to watch and really sharp at what he does. I'm not. I don't like wrenching on stuff. I do it if I have to, but that's not like one of my favorite pastimes by any stretch. I'd rather build a wooden box any day of the week than turn wrenches. Yeah, I do. Is that available on the Amazon? Can I start, you bastard? I need some of that. Let me pull that up because that is hilarious. Let's see. Start, you bastard. Oh, here it is. Let's see here. I can get it on the eBay, it looks like. Yeah. Let me let's see. Let me open this in a new tab. Let me see if I can pull this over. So Y'all can look at it. That's hilarious. Let's share screen. Let's go window. Sorry, it'll take me just a second. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Start you bastard. Instant engine starter. So let's see, 25% ether. I think I hide mine back here. 'Cause I don't know. I don't want people to know that I do use it sometimes. Let's see. This says how much ether is in it. Yeah, it doesn't say on here. I wonder if there's something else in that. Maybe some sort of lubrication. Because that's the thing with like this kind of stuff. It'll dry your rings out, make them brittle, and that's not what you want. I mean, I do keep a can of this stuff around for when you got to get it done. You got to get it done now. But of course, this says upper cylinder lube on it. But yeah, the Start Your Bastard says 25% ether. I'm not seeing anything on this stable starting fluid. It says exactly how much is in there. It says high ether content, whatever that means. Huh. Satisfaction guaranteed. I've been unsatisfied that it doesn't last forever. So we'll put that back in the hidey hole so people don't see it. But yeah, definitely, if you can get it started with something like this, you're doing the motor a big favor. For sure. For sure. Let me get this window closed out here. And crack this open. There we go. So, anybody else? There's a couple of you out there. Say hey. Jump into the comments. Yeah, like I say, we made 16 pints of salsa today, from fresh out of the garden. Probably the best batch I've ever made. It was really, really good. So we do a little bit of trading with that. I've got some friends that can some other stuff. All we're gonna do is salsa this year. A few years ago, we did we did pickles and jalapenos and tomatoes and salsa. My wife was about ready to divorce me after that, so we kind of eased up and decided this year we were just going to put up a bunch of salsa. So, and that's a chore in and of itself. So, but it's fun. It is fun. Yeah. What else we got? There was something else I was going to show y'all. Yeah, I picked up this old Coleman. Yeah, no doubt. Happy wife, happy life. Doesn't take you long to figure that out when you're married. Yeah, this one here. This was, in case you don't know, you can tell what year they were made. It'll be printed on the bottom. This one was 1979, and original globe. It is cracked, but somebody's glued it back together. We fired this up the other day, and just need to put some mantles in it. I didn't have a gas version. I've got two or three of the propane jobs, and those work good. But yeah, these are fun to play with, and when they're priced right, they're hard to pass up. They last forever. You can get rebuild kits for them, and of course the stoves are the same way. I probably got 3 gas ones and a propane one. When I see them for $15, I just buy them. I don't know, kind of a compulsion, I guess. So yeah, TJ. Later in July, we're gonna do a big fishing trip. I think for crappie. We have a giant lake here. At one point in time, it was the largest man-made lake, at least in the United States. It may have been in the world at the time it was put in. But yeah, great crappie lake, lots of bass, lots of catfish, some striper down by the dam. But yeah, my brother, he wants to hire a guide and go out and reel a bunch in. There's some outstanding crappie fishermen on this lake. So we got some feelers out. We'll find somebody to take us out for one day. I used to do a bunch of bass fishing when I was a younger man, wasn't married, didn't have all the commitments of life. Did a bunch of bass fishing. And haven't fished much here lately, so it'd be fun to get out and reel a few in. Uh, what was it, TJ? You were saying y'all caught it. Was it cod or some kind of cod? Get like 6 meters long or something like 3 meters long. Pretty big. So let's see. Yep, we got a couple 3 videos out today, and got some stuff I want to do out here in the shop. It's just too hot right now, but definitely got some shop projects lined up, and I've got a couple rifles to dig into, and got at least one that needs refinish. I don't like to refinish them unless they're just Murray cod. Okay, 2 meters. That's got to be fun. Well, it's kind of a quiet night out there. Wednesday night, maybe everybody's at church. We do our Bible study on Tuesday nights. So, in other news, Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship of basketball. I don't watch a lot of basketball anymore. The game has changed a lot since I was younger and did watch it. It's a very fast game now. Up and down, a lot of 3-pointers. More of a football guy now. Denver Bronco fan. Sure, if y'all have seen the shop, there's some Broncos regalia hanging around. think we got a good chance going to the Super Bowl this year. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. What kind of tools can we talk about tonight? This is one that I think is worth every penny. Yeah, the NBA. I don't watch it that much. Pop loves watching NBA games. I don't care for it that much anymore. But when I watched it, you had big guys down in the paint, and they'd work the ball from the inside out. And now it seems like they just run down, jack up the 3-pointer, and either make it or miss. And that's the game plan. Yeah, Thunder's first championship. I was talking to Pop about that the other night. You know, they could have won a championship back when Durant and Westbrook were there, but Durant, I think they lost to the Heat that year in the playoffs, and then Durant jumped ship and went to play for the Heat. So he is not well received in Oklahoma City anymore. But yeah, they could have had a chance at it if they had stayed together. But yeah, one tool that I think is worth every penny is the C.H. Hansen stud finder. Just a dead simple device. It's got 2 really strong neodymium magnets on the back. And of course, you just slide it around the wall and you'll find your drywall screws, and that'll tell you where your studs are. And it's also got a swiveling level on here that you can kind of use as a plumb bob if you want. But super cheap. I've used a bunch of different stud finders, and this simple little device right here is as good as any of them, I think. Probably less than $10. So yeah, if I think about it, I'll put a link down there to that guy. It'll be accurate now that I've thrown it all over the shop. But that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see, what else? Another one of my favorite tools is the Strooper. This is a, I don't know. I bet it's 3 pounds. Let's take a look here. Yeah, right about 2.5, 3 pounds. Probably 2. But yeah, when you need to get something to do what you want to do, this thing right here is handy. Probably my most used hammer in the shop. For sure. The other hammer I use the most is this old composite fiberglass hammer. I don't even know what brand it is anymore. I've had it for probably 25 years, and just got a good balance. And that handle right there, it takes a lot of the shock out of it. I know there's guys now that pay hundreds, if not $1,000, for these titanium hammers. And I guess, you know, if you swing one all day, every day, I've always always say I don't like buying new tools. You can usually find used ones for, you know, a quarter of the price. But if it's something you use a lot, then get you something that you like and something that works well. You know, one example is I carry these Knipex pliers on my belt every day now, and I use them every day. It's kind of like a pocket knife. If you carry it, you're going to use it. And I will always carry a pair of these pliers on my side now. Now that I've done it for a while, yeah, that's the way to go for sure. Let's see. Any products you guys have latched onto here lately that you would recommend? Something you would stand on the table for? I stand on the table for these for sure, and I'd stand on the table for this guy right here, my Victorinox, not Victorinox, Victorinox. Oh, what do they call this one? The locksmith. Yeah, got the wood blade and big file on it. Nice big locking blade. So those are two I always have on me: the pliers and that knife. Some guys like the Leatherman setup. I've just never cared for having a knife and pliers on the same tool. I'd rather have them separate. But that's just me. Some guys like the big women. Can't hate a guy for that. You like what you like, right? So let's see a couple people joining in. If you're just joining us, say hello. We're just talking shop on a Wednesday night in the US. Some of us are, I guess, ahead of us, starting a new day. We're just finishing up out here in the shop when it's tolerable. It's only 80 now. Yeah, right at 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so we can handle that. Yeah, people jumping in and out. That's cool. Let me grab my. Well, no, you know what? I can do it here. Let's see. Because I'm wondering if anybody has jumped into the conversation of what three guns they would keep if they could only keep three. Let's see here. So, Boomstick, he's been around, I think, since the Earth was created on YouTube in one form of or fashion or another. He says Nerf gun, cap gun, and a squirt gun. Let's see. The real Liberty or Death. Tika LSA 55 and 25 250. Seiko L or I 579 and 243, and a Savage 99 and 253,000. Walnut and Steel says Mossberg 146 BA 22 long rifle, Browning Superpose 12 gauge, and a Winchester 52D. All solid choices for sure. Yeah, definitely got to have a 22 some sort in there. I would say maybe. Gosh, a 22 Magnum's a pretty versatile round. If you talk to people who are honest around here, there's probably been more whitetail taken with a 22 mag than any other caliber. They'll take whitetail. You're not allowed to take them with 22 mag, but that doesn't mean that people haven't done it. and definitely a lot of pig and coyote. And, yeah, used to be a cheaper round. Get a little bit more expensive now, but definitely 22 mag is one that I might consider just because it is so versatile. Some sort of shotgun. Um, I I like 20 gauge myself and 410. I don't know, 12 gauge, I guess it's fine. Skinny guy like me though puts a beating on me. And then some sort of pistol, I would think. Probably a revolver, just because they're reliable. Um, you pull the trigger, you know they're gonna go bang. So, well, fellas, unless you got anything pressing that you want to put out there on this Wednesday night, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Hit the shower and pray we get another shot at it tomorrow. I've enjoyed the company this evening, as always. And I'm gonna try to get some more content out for you guys. I've had a couple 3 weeks that I was down. Had a little issue with the heat that knocked me back, but we're getting back on track. So, TJ, have a great morning, and I'll have a great night. And appreciate your company as always. I wish I could just teleport some of that salsa over to you because I certainly would. I don't know about the customs issue. That might be a problem. But all right, gentlemen, have a good night. God bless you and yours. Keep us in your prayers, and we love you. See you next time.